Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Pokemon Team Builder episode where we take the heroes of the Dimension 20 series and give them a Pokemon team. Today we have the crew of the Zephyr, or like Cloudward Ho here, and I feel like it's been, for me, such a long time since I have talked about these characters, but it has not even been a year, but time flies. As always, we try to give these characters like 6 Pokemon that fit their vibe and not necessarily make a competitive, valuable team at all. More on that in the other videos. We have done all the Intrepid heroes so far, except Cloudward Ho, which we do today, and of course City Council of Darkness. And we're gonna start with Maria. Now, Maria is the captain of the Zephyr, and of course, I said it before, she's kind of like the heart of the season in a way. Well, maybe Olefra as well, but she's definitely like the emotional drive because of Ludmilla and Straka and, well, the Queen and all where we're going with that. However, first off, she has a little familiar, or like a little pet, and that's Kochka, a little steel defender. And I feel like that's why we would give her Ratata. And the Alolan form, because this red before was the regular form, but then all the things with Ludmilla happened and it basically became an emo, let's put it that way. Like really dark and sad, and the world is shitty. As always, I have some ideas on what I want to do with the characters, but I don't have like a fully formed team in my hand. Now, before I mention the Straka, and I'm gonna give her one, and we do have a metallic bird, a giant metallic bird in fact, Kronite. As always, forgive my pronunciation, German is my first language and they have different names in German oftentimes. But yeah, of course we need a Gigantamax version. It is Straka, it is what she needs to conquer. Now, I've said she is the pilot. However, they're not really like ships. There is one thing, but no, like there's like this ghost grass type kind of thing, but it is more like, yeah, there it is. Delamise, this one. It is not really what we're looking for, I would say, so goodbye. However, in the same gen, we have, what's your name? Celestella? I don't know, but it is like we are in the steampunk universe, and maybe this could look a little bit too modern, but it is a steel flying type, and I feel like it fits her. Because in the Starstruck Odyssey we had Skip, who is also a captain. However, I gave him like the Gigantamax of the Beetle form because that's a UFO and way more like spacey. I mean, this also looks kind of spacey, but it also could just look like an aircraft, you know? And that's what they do. The Zephyr flies through the air. Now, the way it flies through the air is basically through balloons, you know, and we also have Jigglypuff, which would be a balloon Pokemon, but not quite what I'm looking for. Where is there it is. Drift Blim, yes. I feel like that's perfectly, it shows what the Zephyr, or how the Zephyr is flying, even though maybe we need to get some ice in here as well. Now we get into the part of the video, or like of these first characters. I always have like 2 or 3 ideas of what I want to give them, and then I want to show the process as well. So this is not like the kind of video where you'll be like, and this is why these characters have exactly these Pokemon. No, like we are figuring it out together, and please let me know in the comments when you have different ideas or different thought processes. And I don't know why, but this ice, Vanished, or like Venliette? Oh, I don't know how to say these words. But maybe I'm gonna put it in there. Because she has, like Maria has, somewhere deep down, kind of a silliness to her, but it is buried under a lot of trauma. Or maybe, better even, because it is like more weather related, just like this ice, but it's not an ice cube, like snowflake form here. Also, navigation is her thing. Now I'm gonna tell you, there is like Nosepass, isn't it? Is that the name? Yes, there it is. However, I'm just gonna tell you right now, I want to give Maxwell the evolution of this because just of the mustache. So, but it would also make sense for her. Is there anything else that we could give her for navigation? Well, weather in general could be. Where is our little Cloud? No, it's also Gen 3. Yes, cast form. I would like that, you know, like her being on the helm and have cast form next to her, and cast form basically tells her or like indicates to her what kind of weather they're expecting to have. Okay, no, I think I like it. Especially the ice Pokemon is called Cryogonal. And it is like the cryo engineering that it has the Zephyr going, keeps it going. It kind of actually fits with this name perfectly. Now, as always, I'm gonna look at the shinies, but it is not a guarantee, or like most likely they won't get any shiny forms. Ooh, but I do. This looks actually really awesome. Strucker is more like dark metal, isn't it? I think so. This one? Ooh, in white. Nice, nice. I have not seen the most of them. I definitely have seen this one before. You? Oh. Hmm. This looks way more creepy. And our cast form? Eh. Okay, fine. So no shiny for Maria, but I'm not gonna give them away nilly-willy. Now maybe, however, Alefra will get one. But we also just need to think about what we will give her in general. She definitely has a roboter, a smack suit, basically, and that is not something that truly exists, but something that does exist, of course, is just a different kind of steel Pokemon. Now, I'm trying to find it while talking, but that's kind of difficult. Yes, Aggron, and I want to give her a Megara Aggron just because it is going to be her strongest Pokemon. I'm probably going to give her a lot of, well, not a lot of baby Pokemon, that's not right, but I want definitely give her one baby Pokemon because she's just kind of like the young chick of the group. Oh god, no, that sounded wrong. She's just a young one alongside Maxwell, like the new Sky-Eyed kids, basically. Now, another thing I feel like that we can give her, however, is this one. Shelgon. Maybe even the pre-evolution, but I'm gonna give her Shelgon for now because again, it is like the mech. She is in a shell, she is protected, but she has like big dreams. Like, what does adventure mean to me? Everything, you know? So I definitely want to give her that. And as a baby Pokemon, I don't know which one. Before I saw this one, Azurill scrolling by, I'm gonna give her this because thinking of the evolution, turning into Meryl and Azurill Meryl also kind of fits. Not because of the water, but Azurill Meryl is kind of like berry, and also it is a weird design. No offense, Olefra, you're a little bit weird. You all remember how she pushed somebody off the roof and yelled, "Who is horny?" Oh, that was such an amazing scene. Now, another thing I have to say, and you usually don't go for that, but something about Olefra gives me bird trainer, like flying types. She gets a lot of Gen 3 Pokemon, I just realized, but like I kind of want to give her like a normal bird. Like we have a lot of normal flying type Pokemon, and I feel like she should have one of them. Like maybe from Gen 1 even, like a Pidgey or like a Pidgeot. Right now I have given her Swallow because I feel like it kind of feels fitting to the steampunk of it all. It reminds me of like Maxwell and how he is like buttoned up and shirted up, Not necessarily what she is like, but it kind of fits with the clothing styles that they all have. Ooh, okay, another one that I see is... But I'm not going to give her the fully evolved one, not Talonflame. I would give her the Fletchling, because, again, she's still quite young, Maybe she also has three flying type, and especially two of them are normal flying. At least Fletchinder is a fire type as well. No, I'm gonna give her Pidgeot for the moment because I feel like that feels more like. I mean, it has a lot of brown and reds in it. That also the costume of. I don't know. She also has blue. Ooh. Again, normally I don't really look at the characters like that, like their true outfit, basically. But maybe. Like, come on, Alefra, speak to me. Which one of these birds do you want? Like, maybe she also would take all of them. But, 3 birds? I don't know. Okay, Azurill, you're going out of the team because I just thought of somebody better. Something more joyful, in a way, and that is Isso. Where is you? Isso is the German name. I wonder if it is the same in English. Probably not. Why not? Yes, again, it gives more like happiness, because Azurill was kind of like whining, crying a little bit, at least in the picture that we saw. And this is more like Olefra's vibe, I would say. But another thing that I thought about are like these two is like the Watsugiri or Tsugiri, yes, and like the big Dodonzo. It is kind of like she is the small one going into the mecha. That could also work for her. I'm kind of undecided. Okay, I like this a lot, but I don't know which bird to get rid of, really. So we have three here. You all go, and yes, it doesn't necessarily make sense in the way of water because they're not necessarily near the water. However, it does make sense for her, I feel like. Again, the whole mecha thing that she has going on in fights. I know her character actually is a rogue, but she doesn't really do a lot of rogue stuff, honestly, so I don't feel like representing that in her Pokemon. So a bird. Now, I also need to give her partner Pokemon. By the way, Maria's partner Pokemon, I have not said it, but of course it is Kochka. It is the Rattata. And I want her to have like a flying partner Pokemon. So maybe even like a pre-evolution. Where is Halo? Maybe. It would be cute. Like you mentioned her with this little bird on her shoulder. And that's being like always following her around. Yeah, no, I feel good about this. Again, like she has two like Why Not and Talo that are not really evolved, and also Shelgon. But again, she's kind of like the little one of the group and needs to grow. But she has a Aragon on her side, like a huge mecha. Aragon. Did I say Aragon? Who knows? You know because you've seen it. Now let's look at these shinies. Not really that much. And ooh, okay. I like that. The first two were not really that impressive to me. And this one looks sick and it looks sick. You know, like both kind of ways of sick. And you, my little fella, I feel like you come in 3 different colors anyway. Like there are different forms. And Taylor, let me see you. Ooh, okay, I like that a lot. But yeah, that's that for now. She will not get any shinies, and I feel good about this one. The next up is Maxwell, and I already teased it, just told you. Well, it's not really teasing. I just told you straight up that he is going to get the evolution of Nosepass because of the beautiful mustache that he's rocking. What's your name? Probopass? Okay. However, that's not his partner Pokemon. I feel like his partner Pokemon, obviously, like our Gentleman Fistler, needs a fisting partner. I still to this day don't like it that they call it gentleman fisting, but oh well. Hitmonchan, excuse me. Another one that is like kind of punching, well, not necessarily, but is often portrayed that way, yes, is Scizor. Yeah, Scizor is your name. And lastly, for him I had some in mind, because honestly he gets a lot of fighting types in a way. And the last one is kind of like a grappler. It is this wonderful, wonderful octopus that goes by the name of Graplocked. Probably more like that. Yes, but he is not only a fisting master, he's also a grapple master. And that's kind of like his whole deal in fighting. And I always forget that this little fella here is just fighting and not water fighting, which I don't fully understand, but sure, Pokemon, you do you. Now, is there something like an oil Pokemon or like a grease Pokemon? I don't feel like we have something like that. Maybe a food kind of thing? Aioli? Not that Maxwell especially was after the now I cannot speak anymore. The aioli so much. But, at the end of the day, Maxwell is a pretty easy character in the way that I mostly can give him any fighting type Pokemon and it will fit him and his character. Oh my god. Oil. Olive oil. Okay. I am going to give him the middle one. Yes. Oh my god. I mean, I don't feel like there's any oil-based attacks, but just like for me, it's the olive oil. Yes. Grease me up, baby. Or maybe I also want to give him a bird Pokemon. Maybe should all of the Zephyr crew have at least one flying type? Maybe like to make it cohesive and like truly make it a bird Pokemon. Yes, I'm gonna call him bird Pokemon. You know what I mean, birds. But then I definitely would give him Halo. Yes. Is that how you say it? Yes, Halo. And in that case, I would give Olefra the Pidgeot. Now, maybe even the Pidgeotto, because otherwise your team is truly not. Yeah, let's give her the second evolution and have this be the Pokemon, still her partner Pokemon that follows her around and flies behind her. Yes, that's good. Okay, let's look at the shiny. Ooh, okay, I like it. Let's go over to Maxwell. Yeah, this would be Maxwell's team. I feel like that fits because this one, again, it feels way more, Taylor feels way more dapper than the other bird Pokemon, I would say, and therefore I feel like it goes really good with Maxwell's theme. However, his partner Pokemon definitely would be Hitmonchan, that just follows him around. Again, since he is not the fully experienced character on the ship, he will get like these two Pokemon that are not fully evolved. However, I think he's a little bit more, what's it called, experienced than Olefra maybe. So that's why his team is a little bit more evolved. Now let's look at the shinies. Okay, I'm a big fan of that. Ice Punch, Fire Punch. Ooh, you can change between male and female. I'm gonna give him the male version. And I have definitely seen this green one before. Like every time there's like super like this greenish, I don't know why, but it sticks in my mind a little bit better. Like what's it called? Umbreon, I feel like. Or was it Umbreon? Like one of the EV evolution also turns fully green. Oh, okay. Interesting. I like the shiny better. A lot better actually. Now, olive. Oh yes, exactly. They only changed their olives from green to black olives, and I'm not a fan of olives overall. But no shinies for him. Even though now I'm back to Elefra, and I kinda maybe also want to give her just a Pidgey. Because I like the idea of her having her partner Pokemon like literally a little bird on her shoulder. Yeah, no, we're gonna give her Pidgey. I'm sorry, I'm so undecided about Elefra. Yeah. So, next up we have Pappy. Now, Pappy, of course, has Ghost Dog, and we literally have a Ghost Dog. Like, sometimes it just... there's a saying in German, Arsch auf Eimer. It's basically like it fits like a glove. You get what I mean. And I'm gonna give him, Poundstone evolution, because it is an old dog on his side. Ghost Dog! Now, he is also a great shot. Like, that's his whole deal. But once again, Pokemon does not have a lot of basically gun-based characters. I am gonna give him, however, one that we know, and it is Impeleon. No, not Impeleon, that's the wrong water starter. It is Inteleon. Oh my god, they're truly really close. Like, we have Empeleon and Impeleon. I just needed to double check that because I'm like, oh, they have like really similar names. And I'm gonna give him the Gigantamax version because he's the best shot. Now, one thing, it's not really talked about fully, but he's fully a cowboy. Like, look at him. He is definitely a cowboy. And I feel like that means he is in Western Town. And Western Town means cacti. And cacti mean Cacatune, I don't know, but this fella right here. And he's kind of like a dark type, which also fits with his vibe, because that's kind of he gives off not the nicest vibes when you meet him, I would say. One thing I kind of want to also give him is, either you love this or see, I don't know, but basically like a love Pokemon or like something like this, because he has a soft heart. He and Comfrey had it was one of the more, how do I say that? Like, I'm a romantic, so I'm not always deep into love, but I enjoyed it. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that I like the Peppy and Comfrey love story that we had in the background, or like in the backstory, and then the end of the season, as you know, what happens there is it's sad. Yeah, no, I'm gonna give him love. I like that. Now, I also said before, everybody should have at least one bird Pokemon because we are on the Zephyr. And now let's see what we can give him. Honestly, Fiero. Piero feels like, again, it kind of feels like it is a little bit more aggressive. It's not that Peppy is aggressive, but Peppy is just, I don't know how to truly explain it. Like, no nonsense, that's maybe the vibe, even though he has his whole disguise kit going on. Another one would be like Grifeldis. Is this your name? No. Again, it would be the German's name. But this lovely lady here, basically, Mandibus, okay. Could give you both, Peppy, but not so quite sure about that. There's some other thoughts. Like, you also could give him Bravery. There's also the Hisuian version, yes. And also, but maybe well, not the baby, but the pre-evolution. Because it is kind of like, he looked after our lovely Orlethra. There could be like a nod to that he basically was looking after the young chick, you know. Yeah, no, I like that. Again, I'm going way more for vibes here than anything else. And I do like the idea of him basically caring for something that was maybe left by him and to him from Comfrey. Yeah, that's his team. Let's see all the shinies. Ooh, okay, map. That looks... I always... Maybe Peppy will get a shiny. Maybe. Ooh. Here I've seen that one before. Here we have a male and a female version. I think I'm gonna give him the male one because he's a man. And yeah. Yellow. And yellow, not really yellow, more like brown, green. And you have, like, your head looks concerning with that color. Ooh, Houndstone. Are we gonna give him a shiny? I don't want to give them too many shinies. No shiny for him. I've decided. Next up we have Van. Now Van has her mechanical arm and, well, the whole chassis Tassie thing going on. Going for chassis Tassie before everything else, there's actually only one other octopus kind of Pokemon, and it's Octillery. The other one we gave to Max. Unless I'm forgetting somebody, but these are like the only two, and they could give us some more, if you ask me. We have like 3 different kind of crabs, I think. Now for her, I actually already had a bird Pokemon in mind, because she's a sailor, or like her family is a sailor, or are sailors, and there is just one sailing Pokemon that just, yeah, needs to be there. And that is Wingull, aka Plico, I feel like is the name, or like the nickname it has in Gen 3 from the guy who has the boat. Now another thing is she's the bosun, and she is like really tough in her way and can get people in line. So I'm gonna give her louder. No, I feel like, yeah, explode. She really has these things under wrap on her ship. I do feel like she could use like a ghost type or like a dark type Pokemon. I mean, we do have a water ghost type. Where are you from Gen 5? So not here, because this was Gen 4. I'm gonna give her that one. There's like a female and male version. I'm not sure which one I would prefer her to have. I actually think... I'm gonna give her the male one. It fits more to her character. Yes, it fits more to her character to have this one. And of course, this is a nod to all of her family's history, you know, like Ghost, Water. Yeah. Now, what could her partner Pokemon be? It could be Wingull. Oh, by the way, not Maxwell's. Peppy's partner Pokemon, of course, is Ghost Dog. So, just to be clear about that. I don't know what it is, but this ice... Avaluk, it's called. In the series, or like in the episode where we find a little bit more out about her, it was in the ice part of Death. So maybe that's why I'm drawn to this, but I feel like I could see her use this, because it is, and also Pokemon that could be used as a ship, basically. It is pretty big. I mean, there is also this Hisuian version. I'm not sure even if this is an evolution or no, it has the same name, so it's just a Hisuian form. But I feel like she would, if anything, she would have the pure ice one. And again, it can be used like as a ship, basically. They're pretty big. Ooh, but I was said before there are not really any octopus thingies going on, but we have like Lilith or the Lilith, and what is your card really? I don't know. But yeah, it's you two. Okay, I gave her the evolution the Pradily. I hope I said it right. Ooh, okay, Octa also has a female and a male version. We're gonna have the female here. And then no, this looks horrible. I'm sorry, that shiny does not look that good. Wingull doesn't really change that much at all. This one we have seen, I think. This one, oh no, that's the gender. That's just adorable. Yeah, I like the shiny version way better. But okay, and you probably will not change a lot. And you, my friend, turned red. Interesting. But no shinies for her. And would actually say that her partner Pokemon is Wingull. Much like Olefra, she has like a little bird following her around. No, let's say Octillery. I think Octillery should be her partner Pokemon that just kind of is sticking to her, and she is kind of annoyed with it. What was Ash dealing with? Ash had also Pokemon that went after him, and James as well. So it is that kind of Pokemon that is kind of sticky and clingy, and she's just like, let go of me, please. Which is, again, a reference, of course, to the whole Tessie Jazzy thing that she didn't want to have anything to do with, quite frankly. Last but certainly not least, we have Monty. Now, Monty has Little One. Little One is a dinosaur, if you're not aware. I hope you're aware. And I'm gonna give him, however, the big little one. I already know that because I just find it funnier to give him the giant version. Well, the giant version, but Tyrannosaur. And no, this, however, will not be his partner Pokemon. But he is gonna call it Little One. Monty is actually kind of a giving character, to give him Pokemon, I mean, in a way that he's such a fan of nature, you can basically give him anything and it would make sense. But I want to give him a zebra because he talked about the nocturnal zebras and he shall have one. Now that he has mammals, at least two, I want to give him also some plant life because he was also interested in that, of course. And again, was there anything specifically that he was interested in? I mean, there were the whole shroom situation where you would change your psyche with another being nearby. However, I'm not so sure. There are shroom Pokemon. I'm not so sure if that is something that he is fully invested in, but maybe. Kinda none of them fits like this vibe of suit that is so zany and so playful. Zany, oh my god. You know which, you will see. Where are you? You are very weird design, because you're mega. And Victory Bell, right? Yes, this is the kind of plant that Monty would love. Like, he loves these weird kind of things. And there's actually one Pokemon, it is a lot on my mind, but I don't know how many other people think about it, because I think it is one of the more forgotten Pokemon. And I want to give it to Monty because I feel like he is an advocate for the species and the beings that we don't always have in mind. This is this little Fenter, the Heatmore. Yeah, I don't know why, but it is just such a weird little creature that he would find fascinating and take with him and show people like, this exists. Don't forget about him or her or them. And one last Pokemon, I mean two, but I know what his partner Pokemon is going to be, and I want to give him that at the very end. There's so many, I could give him this one, Spider Top? I don't know, but that would work. Or for example, the future versions wouldn't work, but the Paradox Pokemon from the past also would work really well for him. You could give him Weedle, or what's you called, Wack Trio. It is all possible for him, as long as it has some connection to nature. So maybe a Pokemon that has like different versions to just showcase his multitudes. When I say versions, I mean forms, and not like a lowland form, but in itself, different kind of forms. Ooh, how about... Ooh, Wormadam. Yes. Yes! Yeah, because it is also steampunk, it has some... Like, this one is the steel one, right? Yes, because it has the trash cloak, basically. That's how we call it. The other one has the leaf and the other one the sand cloak. But I would like it to have him, like, I know it evolves and basically stays this Pokemon, but I would like to imagine that Monty has one that changes depending on the area that they're in, that they adapt. And I feel like that's the headcanon I'm going with. Because much like Monty, they would react to the environment. Not that Monty has like a special reaction to the environment, but he is really invested and interested in what's going on in nature and around nature. And because they're steelpunk, I'm going to give him, however, default form is the Trash Cloak. Now, his partner Pokemon, basically. I don't know. I know what it is. It is Pokopia. But for me, ever since Pokopia, there's one specific Pokemon that just is now the sidekick Pokemon for the Poke Professors, and that is Tangela. Yes, he shall have a Tangela. And I feel like, I don't know why, but just imagining Professor Oak having a little Tangela there, it just fits with the Pokemon Professor because it is such a weird little creature. And again, Pokopia, the Professor Tangelos, I think it's the evolution called, at least in German. And yeah, it fits. Now let's look at the shinies here. Oh wow. Wow, little one. You look amazing. Not a lot of changes here. You look awful, I'm sorry to say, Bell. Yeah. Okay, I like this one more because his base colors actually just give ketchup and, well, mustard, and that's never the thing that I liked about it. Not a lot's changed here, and Tangela, yes, you turn green, which in my mind Tangela is always green, but no, it is way more blue than green. So there we have it. This is the team of Maria, our captain of the Zephyr. Then we come to Olefra, the young chick of the Zephyr. And next up is Maxwell, the young fella. Yeah, the fisting master himself. The gentleman fisting master himself, excuse me. Then we have our best shot in town, or like around the world, even maybe. In all of Suit is Peppy with his ghost dog and his team. Followed by, not Marriott, we already had her, by Van, Chapman, and her cursed team. It is not that cursed. It turns out she's not that deeply cursed. And at the very end, Monty. However, I just realized Monty does not have a flying bird Pokemon, and that is against our rules, is it? I feel like I've been recording for a while, so I am actually going to leave this at this moment because if anything, I probably would heat more, turn that out, take that out and put in some kind of bird Pokemon. But I don't have seen anything that is specifically like, oh yeah, makes sense for Monty. So we're gonna leave it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really like to do these videos. I also have something else planned once we are done with all the characters. So stay tuned for that and leave a like and a comment. It helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you don't want to miss any of the other content I'm doing. Now I wish you all a great day and we'll see us next time. Bye.